Hi everyone, this is Helena and I'm here with my friend Anya Grace today.
Hi everyone.
And we are super excited. This is brand new material that we wanted to share here with you guys. Anya has some incredible ideas today that she wanted to share around the difference between submission and surrender, both spiritually and sexually. So Anya, let's dive into this topic. This is some of the most important information we could probably ever share with you, right? What's the first thing you wanted to say on this?
Truly, yeah, this is like purely coming from like the deepest part of my heart. It's been waking me up at night. So I think it's really important to understand this concept. So we want to first list off some of the qualities and the signs of a woman in submission, and then we'll go into some of the signs that a woman is in surrender, which is the ideal state of being. But first off, I want to share that when a woman is in submission, we'll explain what that looks like and means. She's much more easily abused and exploited and used for her sacred feminine energy. So you have an infinite source of feminine energy. It is pulsating through your body right now. And the value that you bring into this world is that energy. But what's happened is that in this paradigm and this culture that we're living in, we haven't been taught or raised to understand how valuable that is, and how inherently our presence as women is so valuable. So without that awareness, and simultaneously by being programmed and brainwashed, I truly believe it's brainwashed into these paradigms, it's a lot more easy for us to be used and for that energy to be drained. So we'll go into some of the signs that a woman is in submission. Does that make sense what I just said?
Absolutely, yeah. This is such an important topic. Oh my gosh, there's so much we could say about that. We're going to try and keep this video short for you guys today just to kind of introduce this topic. Yeah, when Anya was explaining to me some of the signs that someone is in submission, they were surprising to me. It was the first time I've ever heard any of these things in terms of like someone being stuck in this submissive sort of energy, because I think a lot of times this just kind of happens without us realizing it. So yeah, let's jump into some of these signs.
Yeah. So perfect segue. And what I wanted to say too is often we think of submission and we think of sex. Like that's the first thing we think of is having sex with someone and being like a woman in submission. She's just kind of given up. She's fully just not surrendered. She's just fully like let go to this person's power. And the word submission, literally sub is under. It means under. And we'll talk a little bit later about some of the nuances with this, but it's not the ideal state to be in, even in a sexual relationship, because often what that can invite is somebody using you for that sexual energy or consuming you for that valuable sacred energy that you hold. So that's why we want to move away from submission and into a state of surrender, which may look similar, but the energy is completely different. It's a frequency where you're completely unavailable for being used and abused and exploited. So some of the signs a woman is in submission, they might surprise you. So listen to all of them, and there's even more than this, but we'll just go through a few. One of the key ones is that she feels the need to improve herself. That she feels this continuous feeling like I'm not good enough as I am, so I need to improve myself, or I need to be perfect. So it's a lot of mindset around like, I need to have this perfect diet plan in place. I need to have this perfect exercise plan in place. And it's the pattern of going into these lifestyle changes with the intention of improving yourself. That is a sign of a woman in submission, because she's essentially giving her power away to this external societal expectation of who she is and how she should be in the world, how she should look. So sign of a woman in submission is she follows a rigid diet routine. She follows a rigid exercise routine. She's obsessed with perfecting herself. She has a results-oriented mindset. She feels that need to improve herself. Another really key sign is she has done what she is supposed to in life and in her career and followed the right steps, but isn't happy. She's done everything she's supposed to, but she just doesn't feel like she's happy. Again, that's a sign of a woman in submission, because she has submitted to the external voices that have told her to do this, do that. That's what's going to make you valuable and worthy in this world. So there's more, but I first want to check in with you.
I'm like dying to jump in.
Yes.
But first thing I want to say is there's no judgment here. I can certainly see a lot of myself in that, especially I would say maybe about 10 years ago, just that whole, I need to do this, follow this career path or do all these things to try to look a certain way, and then I'll be perceived as valuable, or then I can get the love I want or the success that I've always wanted, right? So let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. Like I said, this is brand new material from Anya. You're hearing it here first, and we're kind of working out, some of these ideas with you guys. So please let us know, can you relate to any of those things? I know I certainly can. Even still, it can be easy to slip into doing this, beating yourself up when you don't perceive yourself to look perfect, or maybe you're not doing things in the right way, and it can be so easy just to go straight to beating ourselves up or blaming ourselves. And for those of you familiar with my work, obviously you know that never helps you. Never helps you. So let's keep going with this. This is huge.
I'm so glad you added that one, because that's totally one that I find myself doing all the time, is that subtle self beat up. And what's powerful about this concept is once you have the awareness and you can catch yourself in the self beat up or in the consumption with the thoughts around food and exercise, or all of those kinds of, it's all the thoughts that consume us that are draining our energy. Then you can recognize, oh, I'm plugging into that paradigm of I'm submitting right now to a paradigm that doesn't empower me. So I'm going to choose right in this moment to stop beating myself up so that I'm no longer draining my energy towards something that's not even real. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So powerful. Wow, such an empowering way to come from. So I would love to move into the signs that someone's in surrender.
Yeah.
Which again surprised me a lot. So again, we'd love to hear what you guys think about this.
Totally. So, and just like you said, every single woman struggles with this. I still struggle with this, but again, it's all about awareness and also feeling the fire. Once you recognize, and there's so many more signs that you're in submission as well. So we'll make those available in some other way. But once you can become aware that you're plugged into that, it's motivating to get out of it, because you're like, oh, I have infinite energy, but 70% of it has been drained and used. Like that, I don't want to be available for that anymore. And very quickly you're like, okay, I'm going to shift. So
I was going to ask, would you say that if a woman finds herself, because I hear that all the time, I'm just so tired, I'm so exhausted, and not really having a reason why, would it be this like energy drain that we're not even aware that we're slipping into?
Absolutely. Because that's another sign, is that she's stressed out often, she's anxious, she's in that kind of rigid, tight energy. She's tired and exhausted all the time, because she has access, as a woman, you have access to infinite energy. But if you're plugged into the programming and the brainwashing that's been very subtle, then 70% of what you're receiving on a daily basis from moment to moment is being drained out of you. So it's very much like being, it's an exploitation of the feminine that has happened on this whole planet. That's why I feel so much passion around this topic, because it's like, if we're not aware of the subtle ways that we've been brainwashed and manipulated, then we can't claim our energy back, and we can't step into a state of surrender. So there's lots more that I would say on that.
I was thinking, as you were speaking, it's like, I know, we're like reading off our notes over here, but like, imagine how much energy, how much power and energy you would have. Even just kind of stopping the drain on that energy would give you access to this huge percentage of power that you don't have access to in this moment. So let's go into the signs of surrender.
So the state of surrender is very, very different than submission. Even though I actually have had clients say that they're resistant to the word surrender because it feels like submission to them. And it's so very different. It is the most empowering state to be in as a woman when you can master the art of surrender. It's so powerful. So the signs of a woman in surrender are, she's financially abundant, and that's really just a sign that she's open to receiving and she's in alignment in her life. So she's on purpose. She has taken the courageous steps to say no to the things and the people and the circumstances that are draining her energy. So oftentimes that takes a little bit of courage to say, okay, this is not working for me. I hate this job. Or no matter how scary this is, I'm going to take a leap of faith and follow my dream here. It may take time, but when you're out on a limb and when you are living in a state of surrender, sometimes it is a courageous place to be in, because you don't necessarily know what's beneath you, and you don't know the next step, but you're willing to surrender to what is meant to come. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I was just smiling when you said the first thing you said, that she's financially abundant, she's on purpose. Like, to me, that just felt so freeing and so just like expansive, versus these signs of submission that to me felt very constricted, right? Like, you have to fit into this box, versus you're surrendered, you're open to receive, what it is that's meant for you.
Exactly. Yeah. And so another one is things just seem to work out for her magically, like beyond her wildest dreams, truly. And I've had that so many times since I've implemented this. Like, won't even begin to get into the stories, but maybe one day. She's able to ask for and receive support from men, from her friends, and from the universe. So she knows that if she's filled up, everyone around her is benefiting. That's a really key mindset of a woman in surrender. She prioritizes feeling good above all else.
I love that
so
much.
That is key.
Yeah.
Just like kitty cats follow their intuition, their desires, and do whatever they want. As women, we maybe you have a plan to exercise every day, but you just begin to surrender on the days that you don't feel like you want to. And then something more beautiful opens up, like you talk to an old friend, or you go for a slow walk, and these beautiful things begin to open up because they're what are meant to come into your life. Because you've no longer chosen to plug into the control. I need to control every single thing that happens. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so she's sexually awakened, turned on, and able to experience pleasure. She puts her pleasure first, really. So definite sign of a woman in submission is she puts others' pleasure before herself. So we can talk sexually on this for sure. Just that mindset of, I need to perform in bed. I need to be perfect in bed. I need to create a result in bed for this person. It's all very, that is total submission, actually. And it's disempowering, and it's also limiting what you can experience in intimacy, sex, and pleasure. One of the most beautiful mindsets to embrace if you want to step into surrender is the more pleasure you're experiencing sexually, the more powerful that experience will be for your partner as well. So when you put yourself first, even if it's counterintuitive to you, promise you it will expand your experiences sexually with your partner. It's huge. So there's more. Can I go into more?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And let us know what you guys think too down below in the comment section. Is this resonating with you? I am certainly connecting to this on so many levels. I think this is totally like what you're here to teach right now. Yeah, I know. You have so much passion around it. I can see why now. I haven't heard her talk. This is the first time I'm hearing a lot of this stuff, and now I can see why this has been waking you up at night and just this feeling like you need to get this out to the world, right?
It makes me want to cry. Like, I could cry right now because it's so subtle. It's so subtle how we've been manipulated and brainwashed. We all have struggled with body image, but it's when we're consumed with that and when we are focused on that, it's like, for me, there was a time in my life where it was literally 80% of my thoughts were around like food and body and when am I going to exercise and what's going to be on my plate in the next meal. And if I didn't have control over it, I would be an emotional wreck. But that was for like 8 years of my life. And so for 8 years, just through body image and food, not to mention all the other things that I was submitting around, my energy was my sacred, feminine, creative, loving energy was being drained out of my body. And it was being used, that energy doesn't get destroyed. It is transferred. So what was meant to be created as love in this world was literally being drained. So I have a lot of feelings around this, and there's so much more, but just a few more things. A woman in submission, she I'm like shaking.
I know. I can, yeah, and and I've learned so much. That's another thing I believe Anya is here to, like, she has so much to share in terms of that, just the body image, and it's such a bigger thing, but that's such a huge part of it. Like, I struggle with that. We all do. We did I believe it's a live stream or a video on healing body image issues. It's one of the biggest responses we've ever gotten in terms of the comments. And I mean, literally, I believe that 99.9% of women struggle with this. So we really think this is important work and important information to get out there.
Totally. And this is like, right now I'm in this dress and it's like a weird angle and I'm like, oh, my arms look weird. And that it's so intense how much we've been latched onto. Like, the fact that I'm teaching this and simultaneously I'm mitigating the submitting thoughts, like as I'm talking to you about the danger of submitting to this paradigm, I'm dealing with it in this current moment of feeling like, oh, I don't like this angle on the camera. I don't like the way my body looks right now.
It's a constant thing. Yeah. Literally every time I'm doing something on camera, I mean, it's a constant thing. It's always there, always there. I mean, it's gotten so much better after since, working with you and just talking about some of these things. But it's something that's always there. It's not something you graduate from and then you never deal with it ever again, right?
Yeah, totally. But we get so much better at it. So now it takes like 10 to 20% of my thoughts, like my patterns of submission are now 10 to 20% of my life force energy. It's no longer 70 to 90%. So lastly on this, there's more, and I have more talks on this elsewhere that we'll direct you to as well. But the last thing I want to say with the woman in surrender is she feels seen and honored and adored in the deepest way that she's always desired. Because when a woman in the feminine is in a state of surrender, I do this exercise and meditation with people where I have them envision this beautiful state of surrender where they're receiving the sacred energy from source and spirit and the universe while they're being supported by these divine masculine men beneath her, literally holding her up so that she can get closer to this source. Because when she is in that state of soft, subtle, warm, spiritual surrender, every single person around her benefits. So that's what's so beautiful, is that a woman in surrender is really the future of the feminine. And it's what we're stepping into. It's what Helena's channel is guiding everyone into. It's what my work is in the world. It's really about helping women see that, we literally have access to infinite energy. So if you're feeling stuck right now, know that there's a whole nother world that we're stepping into, and you can be on board and you can create that transformation in your life. I love that. And I don't even know if I want to add this in here, because what you talked about was so spiritual and amazing, but actually it is the path. This is the path to attracting what you want in terms of the dollars in the bank, or the love and relationship you want, or the dream house or the dream career. This is the path to it. It's not this rigid, I need to follow all these strict guidelines and what everyone else says I should probably do, right? Exactly. Because we have this source of infinite power when we're tapped into our feminine energy like that. So I'm seeing this as the way, as actually the path of least resistance to getting what you want. Because, in the absence of all this angst and drain on our energy, this path unfolds beneath us that we might have been missing before if we weren't tuned into that, if that makes sense. Exactly. Like when we let go of control, which is the really wounded masculine energy, and we open to surrender, we open to what the universe wants to penetrate our lives with. We open to the gifts and the love and the light that the universe wants to send us as, like, you can think of the sun. The sun is the divine masculine energy that is constantly giving and giving and giving and never needing anything from what it's giving energy to. So we just get to literally receive that energy from the sun and from the universe. And it will take us farther than we've ever gone before. Like I just moved into my dream studio, and I can't even begin to tell you, like, it was beyond my wildest dreams what's happened and just this last week. But that was from a state of surrender and recognizing that what I could even dream up in my mind was teeny tiny minuscule for what the universe actually wanted to deliver. So same thing can happen in love and relationships, same thing can happen in purpose, career, money, abundance, life. And it's really about, like, exactly love what you're saying, removing the resistance and softening into openness to receive. So lastly, we'll talk way more about this in other trainings later on because it's so deep. This is like definitely the crux of my work in the world, or part of it. But the key to shifting into a state of surrender is really about frequency. And and like really being able to tune into that subtle difference between submission and the state of like, okay, let me like please my partner right now, and the state of surrender, let me allow myself to feel pleasure, so that, and as a byproduct, the people around me will feel pleasure as well. Just a tiny example. The true way to shift into surrender is by the mastery of your energy. It's energetic intelligence, which is something I talk about. And it's all about frequency. So if you've ever done the feminine activation trainings with me, what we're doing in those is helping you to feel into the sacredness of your energy and to feel into your divinity. Because when you know how valuable you are, and you recognize that you are the same as that, and this is very spiritual, but you are so sacred. And when you feel yourself as this sacred energy, every single cell of your body, you literally become unavailable for abuse. You literally cannot even have sex with somebody who's not at that level with you, because it makes you want to throw up. Like, you can't physically do it, because there's just, by doing that act, you would be submitting to that paradigm. That doesn't, it's not a comparison or judgment thing, it's just an energy thing. So this is getting a little bit out there, but that's what, like, all of the trainings that I really am here to do and doing right now are about helping you tap into your divinity and sacredness and your sacred energy, so that your value, you recognize your value, and it's just this inherent knowing. And you don't have to do anything else to attract the love of your life. And you don't have to do anything else to attract the money. It's just a byproduct of your inherent value. Does that make sense?
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's so in line with everything I love to talk about.
Exactly.
You guys know, in terms of law of attraction and feminine energy, and it, to me, from my language, my standpoint, it makes perfect sense. If you are vibrating or existing on a certain frequency or wavelength, only things that match that are going to be able to join you. If somebody comes along that isn't on that same, wavelength with you, they're not, there's this natural attrition process, right? They're naturally going to drift away, and the right people, the right opportunities are naturally going to come in, and there's nothing you need to do to micromanage it. It's going to be just this natural unfolding. That's kind of the way I like to think of things. That makes sense.
Totally. And by stepping into this elevated energy as the elevated woman, you naturally elevate the people around you. Like Helena and I have done this for each other. She's elevated me in certain ways, and I've elevated her in certain ways.
Yeah,
and it's
for
because of the energies that we're tapped into. And so you help people around you rise up when you become your most elevated, sacred self. And to become the elevated woman, it's literally all it is recognizing yourself as a sacred divine body.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. I think you should do a whole training on this. I'm like wanting to say, click the link below to sign up for Anya's training on this, but she hasn't created it yet. I almost want to just say, I think you have to create one on this.
I know. I think it's going to be, I have the feminine activation trainings that are like, I do them every year live, and they're super powerful. You've gone through them.
Oh my gosh. Some of the most powerful things I've ever done. I've had experiences with them where I'm just crying, and it's changed me forever. And I'm not the only one. There's been hundreds of women who email her and tell her they've had the same experience. So I think you should probably do a whole training just on this, because I need this. We all do. The world needs this.
I need it.
So let's you want to create something like that, or any way to get a hold of Anya, if you want to sign up to her newsletter, so you can get notified when she's doing a new training. If she ends up doing one on this, I'll include everything in the description. Everything's right below this video. Feel free to share this with any women, any friends or family members that you think could benefit from this message. I think everybody can. Feel free to let us know what you guys think down below in the comments. Any last words of
just
wisdom?
Last thing, don't beat yourself up. And if you are in this moment, know that you're submitting again. So just know, where it's constantly all about self-love, compassion, and that is the way to move from submission into surrender, is to recognize that we're all working on this together. So avoid as much as possible beating yourself up or judging yourself if you feel like you identify with the submitted woman. And just know that we are literally all shifting right now. And so the best thing you can do is have compassion for yourself, be gentle. You have the awareness, that's the first step. And then also allow any anger or emotions to rise up. That's huge. And then from that point, forgive again and have compassion, and then instant elevation.
Beautiful. Yeah, I want to make some more videos on the steps to go from submission to surrender, because there's so much to say about this, and I said we want to try and keep this video short, already over 25 minutes.
It's perfect though.
Yeah, if you guys would like some more videos on this topic or steps on how to do it, I'd love to do a live stream sometime on this. I think that would be so powerful. So yes, we love you guys. Please let us know what you think down below in the comment section, and Anya, thank you so much. This is amazing.